The Kia Stonic enters the small SUV fray looking to pinch customers from the likes of the Nissan Juke and Citroën C3 Aircross, but has its work cut out if it's going to make a real impact. Based on a shared platform with the Kia Rio hatchback, the oddly named Stonic is only an average performer, so while it's perfectly adequate in all areas, it's truly compelling in none. That's potentially a problem when there are so many more characterful competitors on the market. All is not lost, however, as the Stonic is good to drive and that famous Kia 7-year warranty is hard to ignore, too. Our choice Kia Stonic 1.0 TGDI First Edition. The Kia brand has been associated with good value SUVs for years, and with the new Stonic, the Korean-built range has broadened to encompass the compact sector. The Stonic sits beneath the well-established Sportage and Sorento models in Kia showrooms, but while its bigger brothers feature 4x4 drivetrains, the Stonic is two-wheel drive only. Kia also offers the Niro hybrid crossover/SUV that bridges the gap from the car lineup, but that's bigger and more expensive than the Stonic, too. If you want something with a more iconic shape, the Kia Soul crossover might fit the bill. Best crossovers and small SUVs on sale. The Kia Stonic takes on an array of fashionable rivals such as the Citroën C3 Aircross, Ford EcoSport, Mazda CX-3, Nissan Juke, Renault Captur, Seat Arona and Vauxhall Mocha, so has its work cut out to make an impact. The new Kia SUV also has a sister model/rival in the Hyundai Kona, another SUV that shares the Kia Rio powertrains, and the platform that also underpin the Stonic. The pair also share the latest Rio's interior. If you're wondering what the name means, it's derived from speedy and tonic, although anyone familiar with the Rio won't be expecting too much of the former. Some will also remember Kia as an out-and-out budget brand, but as its products have moved into the mainstream, so have the prices. That said, the Kia Stonic spec list is pretty good, so even though there are rivals with lower entry prices, the Kia competes well on a like-for-like basis. While other Kias are available in trim levels called simply 1, 2, 3, and 4, the Stonic confuses things a little with only 2 editions available from launch: the Stonic 2, and the higher spec First Edition. The Stonic 2 comes with 17-inch alloy wheels, a 7-inch TFT screen, infotainment system with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, air conditioning, all-round electric windows, parking sensors, LED running lights and roof rails. The Stonic First Edition adds navigation, heated seats, a reversing camera, stop-start, autonomous braking, blind spot detection and lane departure warning, plus 2-tone paint and a posher interior. You also get a choice of 3 engines, with 2 petrols and a diesel on offer. There's no automatic gearbox option. Engines, performance, and drive 3.6. The Stonic's agile handling is let down by a fidgety ride, but otherwise it's a refined performer. The Kia Stonic is pretty competitive on the road, as engineers have retuned the Kia Rio's rather average suspension setup to handle the Stonic's higher center of gravity. In doing so, they've also created a car that feels more agile, is relatively roll-free and handles in a composed and tidy fashion. The steering is well weighted, if lacking in feel, and the gear change is light and slick too. The downside is a ride that's fidgety, especially over the myriad smaller imperfections that characterize UK road conditions. It's a characteristic that's doubtless amplified by those fashionable oversized 17-inch alloy wheels, but no helped by the firm suspension. Larger bumps are soaked up in more accomplished style, but if most of your motoring is away from motorways and A roads, you may wish for a more refined setup. The Stonic offers a generally refined driving experience in other respects, however, with the cabin that is well isolated from wind noise. Even the road noise from the big tires isn't intrusive. Engine's performance won't be startling whichever model you choose, although the 1.0-liter 3-cylinder engine is by far and away the pick of the bunch. In spite of its small size, it is the perkiest in the lineup. The downsized turbo unit makes 118 bhp and delivers its power without too much noise and fuss. You'll need to rev it quite aggressively to access the performance, but with maximum torque delivered from 1,500 rpm, the engine responds well to everyday driving demands. The 0 to 60 miles per hour time of 9.9 seconds is not too shabby, and top speed is 115 miles per hour. The 1.4-liter four-cylinder petrol engine is bigger but less powerful. With just 98 bhp and only 133 Nm of torque, it feels more sluggish too. The 0 to 60 miles per hour dash takes 12.2 seconds, and the top speed is capped at 107 miles per hour. If you're looking for diesel power, the 1.6 CRD model offers 108 bhp and 260 Nm, which is enough for a 0 to 60 miles per hour in 10.9 seconds and 112 miles per hour, but we feel the 1.0 TGDI petrol is better suited to most drivers' needs. MPG, CO2 and running costs 3.7. The Stonic turns in a decent performance on the affordability front, and the 7-year warranty remains an industry benchmark whichever model you choose. There isn't a Kia Stonic that's going to cost a lot to run, and we think the 1.0-liter turbo petrol makes more sense than the diesel for most drivers. It will achieve a creditable 56.5 mpg on official figures, which isn't too far off the 67.3 mpg that Kia claims for the 1.6-liter diesel model. It's true that you might have a better chance of achieving high numbers in the diesel than you would in the petrol, however, which thrives on a bit more revs in real use. Still, we expect the differences will be relatively marginal for anyone not doing stellar mileages, especially when you consider the diesel engine costs £1,000 more to buy in the first place. Seat Arona vs Citroën C3 Aircross vs Kia Stonic. The entry-level 1.4-liter petrol comes in at 51.4 mpg, and while all the Stonic's efficiency figures are decent, they are by no means the best in class. For example, you should be able to eke more miles out of equivalent versions of both the Nissan Juke and Peugeot 2008. For company car drivers, the benefit in kind, BIC, rates are similar for all versions of the Stonic, thanks to reasonably low CO2 emissions. The 1.4 petrol attracts a 24% BIC, while the 1.0 petrol and 1.6 diesel are 22 and 23% respectively. All models attract the same VED road tax charge of £140 per year. Insurance groups. The relatively pedestrian performance of the Kia Stonic means it doesn't get whacked with outrageous insurance premiums. Group ratings are 10 to 14 across the range, which is similar to the Renault Captur. Depreciation. The old days of disastrous depreciation seem to be behind Kia. While the residual values of your Stonic won't match the best in class, the Seat Arona, for example, it should perform in the same ballpark as the Nissan Juke/Renault Captur pairing, possibly even a little better, according to some used car value pundit. Interior, design, and technology. For it has just enough sparkle, but there's nothing radical about the Stonic's design. Inside or out, the Kia Stonic is unashamedly setting its sights on buyers who want a small SUV with a bit of style and panache, but it's not as characterful as some in the sector. If you don't want a car that's too ostentatious, you might think that's a good thing. The Stonic isn't frumpy or dowdy though, especially in brighter colors and with the two-tone roof treatment that comes as standard on the first edition model. The crossover shares its tiger nose grille design and swept-back headlamps with its Rio stablemate, but in keeping with its SUV pretensions, the bodywork is more muscular and beefy. Black plastic sill guards and wheel arch trims, along with standard fit roof rails, all help create a slightly more adventurous look when contrasted with bright paint. Inside, the Stonic benefits from a functional and attractive design, as well as impressive fit and finish for this class. However, although the fascia appears extremely well manufactured and impeccably screwed together, Kia has gone heavy with hard and brittle-looking black and grey plastics, and we'd like a bit more attention paid to lavishing the interior with more soft-touch materials. That said, you can upgrade with color-coded interior packs that add your choice of grey, bronze, orange or green trim highlights, and definitely give the cabin ambience a bit of a lift. Sat-nav, stereo and infotainment. The 7-inch touchscreen navigation system that's fitted as standard to first edition models is well placed at the center of the dash, and straightforward to use. In the 2 trim level, you still get the screen, but it's a display unit only with no touch functionality, or Sat-nav. Both Set UPS are Bluetooth compatible with your smartphone, and include Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with voice control. All models feature a 6-speaker audio system with steering wheel controls and DAB radio. Practicality, comfort, and boot space. 3.8 Many of the Stonic's SUV rivals offer more space, and a more commanding driving position. We've already discussed the shortcomings in the Stonic's ride quality, which will particularly affect drivers using urban and minor roads. Another area where the Stonic may fail to meet the desires of its potential owners is the seat height. Lots of buyers look to SUV-type vehicles for the reassuring and commanding driving position, yet the seats in the Stonic are set relatively low compared to most of its rivals. That said, if you after a sportier driving position, this car could fit the bill. There are lots of practical touches when it comes to cabin storage though. You get big door pockets up front, a pair of cup holders and a 7-liter glove box, as well as useful storage built into the central armrest and console. There are cup holders for the kids' water bottles in the back too, and shopping hooks in the boot. Size. Although it shares the Kia Rio's platform, the Stonic is a little bigger all-round thanks to bigger overhangs and wider track. The wheelbase is standard Rio though, and there's only the 5-door body style. Legroom, headroom and passenger space. There's enough extra space in the Stonic for it to feel noticeably bigger than the Rio, and the taller body style means headroom for rear seat passengers is improved too. However, the wheelbase constraints mean there's no more rear seat legroom than in the Rio hatch, which means it's adequate but not luxurious, especially for taller passengers. Boot. You get 352 liters of boot space in the Stonic, which is a little more than the Kia Rio hatchback, but significantly less than some of the Stonic's larger rivals. The Peugeot 2008 has 410 liters, and you can have up to 455 liters in the Renault Captur with the rear seats pushed forward. With the seats folded, you can get a maximum of 1,155 liters and a flat load floor, but again the rivals do better. At least the Stonic has a wide opening tailgate so access is easy. Reliability and safety. 4.1 The Kia Stonic offers plenty of safety kit, but key features like autonomous braking aren't standard. Independent crash testers Euro NCAP haven't got round to the Kia Stonic yet, but recent Kia models including the Rio have performed well, with the caveat that some of equipment required to make the full 5-star rating is optional and not standard. We think you can be pretty confident the Stonic will perform in similarly impressive fashion from a passive safety/structural perspective, but once again Kia has chosen to make some of the safety highlights optional. Automatic emergency braking, lane departure and rear cross-traffic alerts are standard on the first edition, but the Stonic 2 must make do with its 6 airbags, ISOFIX rear seat mountings, stability control, and hill start assistance. Without any of the driver assistance pack extras, the Rio only managed 3 stars, so we await the Stonic's NCAP results with interest. The Stonic obviously hasn't featured in our driver power survey yet, but the fact that it shares all its tech with models that have performed reliably bodes well and should provide reassurance to potential buyers. Warranty. The Kia 7-year warranty is unbeatable, providing 100,000 miles of cover on all the manufacturer's new cars. It's undoubtedly part of the Kia brand appeal, and has also helped boost second-hand values. Servicing your Kia Stonic won't break the bank, and you can spend £299 when you buy the car to cover 3 years of servicing under the Care 3 plan. If you're planning to keep the car longer, a £599 plan will cover you for 5 years of servicing, assuming you cover only average mileage. Higher mileage drivers will need to service their Stonic at 10,000 mile and 20,000 mile intervals for petrol and diesel models respectively.